All right, hey guys, it's Eamon back with another rapid game on Lichess. Let's play D4, playing H. Valoisov. Okay, D4, D5, Queen's Gambit declined. An early C5. So this is the Tarrasch. Lots of moves possible here. Just deciding how I want to play. I think we'll go for an early E3, just so we can recapture with a pawn on D4. Okay, this is a 10 plus 5 game, so a bit quicker. All right, and we get a symmetrical position. Now, if I play bishop d3, he's probably just going to take here, and I'll lose a tempo. So, is there anything I can do about that? I could release the tension and take myself, but that opens up this light square bishop. Don't really want to take on c5 and give it my strong central pawn. So, what to do? Yeah, I think we're just going to have to allow that to happen. Not a big deal to allow him to take on c4 and lose his tempo. Often we don't really have a choice in that. Okay, and he goes a6. Clearly intending b5. And I could play a4 to prevent b5, but then b4 is a long-term weakness. We could just ignore it because it's castle. And if b5, yeah, it doesn't seem like a big deal. If we give him this queenside space, we'll have some play on the hopefully have some play in the center or on the queen side. Now, which square should I drop back to? I could go to d3, e2, or even b3. If I go to d3, the pawn would be attacked 3 times, but he can't take it because we'll have bishop b5 in the end. Mm, I think I do want to go to e2 though. Okay, bishop e7. Considering a4. Yeah, this is a bit awkward. Black is behind in kingside development, but I don't see a great way to take advantage of that. I think I'm gonna go a4. Try to encourage him to play b4 and give me the c4 square. All right, we'll drop back to b1. Now we're looking to reroute this knight into c4. Pretty exciting time in the chess world. We got the candidates going on. Well, candidates is over now. Mukesh, 17-year-old from India, won the tournament. Really exciting. Okay, now if I get on knight d2, this pawn would be hanging. Hmm. Black is already equalized here. I could take on c5. Yeah, otherwise I think this pawn is just gonna be too weak. So just like he made me waste a tempo with developing my kingside bishop and then taking a and then having to recapture. I think I'm gonna do the same thing. And now if bishop takes, We could go queen. Yeah, I like the look of queen c2 here, attacking the bishop and preparing rook d1. And if he goes queen b6, then when a knight lands on c4, it'll come with a tempo. So that looks good. Uh-huh. Let's go queen. Let's go knight d2. Okay, goes knight a5, controlling the c4 square and opening up this bishop. Uh-huh. Looks like a decent move. Yeah, we definitely have some problems here, namely this bishop. I'm thinking about b3 so that I can develop my bishop this way. If I go b3, is rook c8 a problem? I don't think so. I think queen b1 should be fine there. As long as... this does create a hole on c3 though. But this knight could be important for the defense of his king, so... Okay, he does go rook c8. I plan queen b1 against this move. Any reason not to play it? Don't think so. Hmm. Should have considered if this is a problem. So if I go bishop b2, is bishop e3 a problem? Bishop e3, bishop b2, bishop e3 takes. I have rook f2 at the end. That looks fine. Yeah. So we'll develop the bishop. This knight could potentially become overloaded, defending both f3 and b3. But I do have a threat of taking this. So let's say knight d5. Okay, rook d8, really? So you're just going to let me take this and damage your king side. That does look pretty tempting. So let's say takes. Maybe knight c4 there. Also isn't great. What about knight e4 there? If takes, knight b3. Alright, I think we have to take this, otherwise we'll probably just be worse for no compensation. Now, how about knight e4 takes, bishop takes, queen takes, and then takes here? Do we have anything there? Hmm, not sure. My rook would be under attack. Yeah, if we just have to play rook d1, then it's not great. If we go knight c4, yeah, it doesn't look great either. Okay, what about queen b2, attacking this pawn? That looks decent. So we've lost the bishop pair for, and the only compensation to speak of really is this kingside weakness. It's not going to be too easy to exploit that. Could hmm, I'd like to swing my pieces around to attack f6, but it's not easy. I think I should just try to trade a pair of rooks. Maybe rook c1. Yeah, we should try to oppose his rooks on the C and D files. Maybe in the future we'll get a chance to attack f6. A knight on d4 could be an outpost square, but it wouldn't really have any good squares to go to. So Yeah, I definitely think I'm slightly worse here, but I don't see any way for black to prove an immediate advantage, so it can't be too bad. I'll probably, in the next few moves, I'll probably just trade a pair of rooks. And okay, he initiates the trade. Take back. Okay, he wants to trade all the rooks, but now if I take on c8, bishop takes, and I go knight e4, that would attack the f6 pawn. I don't see a super convenient way for him to defend that. Anything else to think about? No, let's just take. Now knight e4. The knight would be hanging here. Yeah, I think we got to go for this. E5. Okay. So now the f5 square in particular is a lot weaker. So I'm trying to think about if I could sink a knight in there. Maybe knight g3, knight h4, and knight f5 is one plan. Yeah, I like knight g3 because then we could also look at h5 and attack his king that way. So if I go knight g3, what is he going to do? It's not immediately obvious. This feels like a pretty big positional concession, weakening these two squares. Okay, I see. He wants to attack this. Makes sense. So I could protect it with knight d2. Or how about bishop d1? Bishop d1 with the idea of rerouting the bishop to this diagonal. Looks good. We just have to make sure the bishop is undefended here, so I have to make sure the queen can't attack it in any way. And I have potential back rank problems. But if I go bishop d1, queen d6 or queen d8, I can just go bishop c2. Okay, good for this. I want to, yeah, swing this bishop around. And it looks really nice on this diagonal. We should be quite wary of our back rank here, though. Okay, queen d6, but I thought bishop c2 now. He can't come into any of these squares. So what's he planning? Bishop d2. Maybe he's planning queen d5 to attack this pawn one more time. I think we should have some pretty good compensation. Maybe queen b1 is an idea to attack this pawn. Really, we'd like to get the queen in front of the bishop on this diagonal, but that seems too slow. Like bishop b1 is not going to be possible. Yeah, he does go queen d5. But now I thought queen b1. And if he takes on b3, I can take here. Yeah, it looks all right. Down 4 minutes, but we do have a 5 second increment, so it's not the end of the world. He could try, I guess, h6 would is the only way to really keep this pawn. My own b3 pawn is basically a goner. So if knight b3, I take here, say king h8. I guess we can drop the bishop back to e4. Okay, he does keep the pawn. Now I was thinking knight h4, trying to come to h5. So if I go knight h4, knight b3, Knight f5. Probably would go bishop f8 there. Hmm, it's not too convincing. Yeah, I'd like to get an initiative going, but I can't see how to make it happen. So knight h4, knight b3, knight f5, bishop f8. Yeah, the knight is pretty, but the bishop on f8 defends well. If only I could get my queen into the attack there. Maybe queen e1? It's quite slow. Even queen f1 there, attacking here. I could go queen f1 now, and if knight b3, I could take this. It's not convincing, but I don't see another great alternative, so we'll go for it. So we're attacking a6. If he has to take time to defend a6, then I think I will be able to get an initiative going on the king side, but okay, so we gotta calculate. Knight b3, queen a6, say knight d2 there. He could potentially have some back rank problems with this bishop covering this square and the knight covering g7, but that tactic is pretty far off. You could try queen c6, defending this, but then have queen d3. That looks good. Like I said, I really want to get the queen in front of the bishop on this battery so that my queen can infiltrate on h7. So he'll probably take on b3. If I take on a6, yeah, knight d2 would make sense, trying to trade a pair of knights. And I would probably want to avoid the trade. Maybe go knight h4 there. Looks a bit risky with my weak back rank, but I don't see specifically what he can do. We might even have, like I said, back rank tactics, but okay, he does go queen c6, but now I thought I could go here. e4, yeah, he doesn't have e4 because cover that square too many times. He doesn't f5 because we can just take it, so what's he planning here? He doesn't have any back, he can't take on b3, hoping to exploit my back rank because I have knight f1 covering. Not sure what he's thinking here. I am threatening mate in 2. So what is he planning? Might have to go f5 just to try to break up my coordination here. I'm really happy he went for this. Knight b3 still looked unclear. So how can he defend the mate? I guess he could try king f8 right away, but again I go here. Then I'm threatening mate in 1. I mean, you could try evacuating with your king. He does, okay. So queen h7, king e8. Okay, well, I think we should do this. He does go there. Now how to get my pieces involved. Go knight e4. Yeah, I do have back rank issues, so maybe knight f5. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go knight f5. Can't take this bishop because we have a discovery. So he probably has to take the knight. Then on queen takes, we get an opposite color bishop position, which should be good for the side with the safer king, which right now I would say is me. As far as what I'm threatening, right? Okay, bishop f8. Hmm, I think I should just create loft. Well, now he might be able to take this pawn. But then we could take h6. Ten's position here. I might be able to go bishop e4 next. Again, using this discovery tactic with the knight. This f8 bishop is a really good defensive piece. Okay, he takes this. If I take, take here. I think we're gonna have to go for that. Bishop e4. It's not convincing. He could just give a check. Yeah, my queen side is falling apart, so we're gonna have to make something happen over here, but not sure what it's gonna be. This pawn is gonna run really quickly, so we need counterplay against this king. Pen's position here. Maybe I could go knight g4, maybe knight f8, knight g8 to attack f6. Huh, how about e4 now? E4, he has a check. Then he could take this. Doesn't look good. Man, not sure. I think he can just take this now. Or just push the pawn, yeah. Oh man, what to do? Let's try to attack this. Can probably just go b2 though. I'm not getting through quick enough. Okay, now he can just take this if he wants, or just move the king probably. King g8. Take this. I think we gotta try to keep the knights on the board. It's my only hope. Ah, yeah. King d8. Good move. Uh, just don't have anything. Unfortunate. All right. Good game. Let's check it out. Make sure to examine the games without the engine first. Whoops. Okay. All right, so yeah, Tarrasch Defense. Pretty good opening. C takes d5 is the main move. E3 is also a move, though. We get the symmetrical position. Okay, A3 is the main move here. Trying to, because we both have this dilemma where piece we'd most like to develop is the kingside bishop, but once it's developed, then the other side is just going to take the c pawn, and we'll have to waste another tempo taking back. So A3 doesn't make sense. Bishop D3. Yeah, bishop D3 isn't bad, but it does allow him to just do this. A6 makes sense. Castle, B5. Here we go, A4, which is probably not called for in this position because this, like we saw, this B pawn is going to be strong and strong in the endgame. Okay. There we go, knight D2, knight A5, B3. And we'll develop moves. Here's an interesting moment. He allows me to take this. Yeah, in retrospect, his king is not that weak, but we did get some play against it. Okay. This move looks quite committal to me, but yeah, he made it work. We swing the bishop around. Yeah, here I thought I was had a good position, but yeah, the, just running the king away is a good idea, and I definitely underestimated it because all my threats are kind of superficial, especially once he gets his defensive set up with bishop f8. Yeah, and here just don't know what I can do really. I think we do need some left because, you know, like for example, I consider bishop e4, but then he just does queen c1. So we make some left. Takes, yeah. Did I have anything better here? Yeah, I kind of doubt it. It's probably already very good for black, and yeah, now he can just ignore my threats and push his pawn. All right, let's see. Let's see what the engine says. See if we had anything at all. Oh wow, he did have bishop e3. I thought I calculated this. Takes, rook f2. Ah, knight g4. I missed this one. Gotcha. Okay, that was sloppy. Fortunately, he didn't punish me for it. Yeah, black is already better here. Although, yeah, it doesn't like this. It'd rather, yeah. Knight d5 makes a lot more sense, just looking to come into c3. D8 takes. 2. Okay, here it's already equal. 34. Yeah, it doesn't like this e5 move. Okay, this is all normal. I see. I'd rather go knight d2, exploiting this pin, or not pin, but discover attack on the queen, just to try to hold the b3 point. So I went queen b1, counter-attacking, but it already wants to do this, huh? Takes, king g7. Hmm. And white just doesn't have a real attack here, huh? All right. So so after h6, wants to go e4 and it says the game's equal. Interesting. I guess it just wants white to go into passive mode and try to hold b3 together at any cost. If I go queen f1. Okay, so he can take this. Apparently it's -2. Why's that? Just this b pawn is too strong, I suppose. Yeah, that makes sense. With all his pieces look aimed at the queen side, this passed b pawn should just be winning for black. Okay. Fortunately, he went queen c6. Queen d3. E4. What is this? And if I go knight e4, go bishop b3. I see. Exploiting the back rank, and I can't recapture this because he always has these back rank problems. All right. So I missed that move. But king f8 also looks good. And queen h7, it's really just a one move threat. Yeah. So I should just go queen d1 and just try to hold the b3 pawn at any cost. I mean, when the computer tells you that passive defense is the best way to go, it's often quite depressing because you know, few people have the instinct to just defend passively. It's much more human to try to go for some active counterplay. Yeah, it just wants to go knight d2 and try to hold this pawn. All right. But I go in, making the human mistake. Now it wants to go knight d2. Again, it just wants to hold on to b3, whatever the cost, which makes sense since my my counterplay came to nothing on the king side. F5, probably a big mistake. Yeah, and this position is already lost. So I guess we could say knight f5 was the losing move here because yeah, with the bishop on f8, we really don't have any concrete threats. h4 takes. All right. Yeah, not much to look at this point. It's already too easy for black to defend. All right, so what can we take away from that? I guess we can say that passive defense is often the way to go in these structures. Yeah, when the king can safely run to f8, when the king can safely escape the king side and then the bishop can defend, it's white is just not going to have many serious threats here. All right, well, unfortunate loss there, but still kind of instructive. Of course, no one wants to defend passively, but I guess that's what it takes sometimes. All right, thank you guys for watching, and see you with another one soon.